months in advance, and only now are you getting your debate.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But
W3.
so now that we're recording, wait, let me also do the OBS just because I want to have it for me if the rec bot starts tweeting.
We don't want
like
no
it did
faulty
before.
recordings.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, all right. All right, so whose odds are on free? Whose odds are on Sinthe? Can we get a poll?
My odds are on free.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
My odds is on free. You know, he learned from a very great persons.
Synth.
Hell yeah.
That's fair. But anyways, I specifically had an issue with your reductio, quote unquote, or your hypothetical that you had, because not only do I believe that it's mainly this. Wait, give me a second. Wait, give me a second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we cannot hear you. Free. Oh no. I think now we should take some time to like give some credit to our boosters. You know, we got Vert, we got myself. I'm biased. You know, they've been boosting the server, making sure that
people are here boosting. At least it's the server.
High activity. You know.
Yeah.
Gonna move.
Yo, Sinthe, I'd like to say that I'm like a big fan. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Get your bitch ass down.
Dirty up.
Who the
hey,
no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
No, don't let up infinity. Don't let up infinity, nor let up isolate. But basically, yeah, I cannot talk even loud or anything. I'll try to be. But if you can hear me, that's fine. Yeah, I had specifically an issue with your.
They're debating right now, infinity.
Yeah. I had an issue with reductio, quote unquote, or your hypothetical with the homeless man that you like to use against me and I think Lucario specifically. But
that's right. That's right. I don't specifically. I'm gonna correct one thing. I don't specifically like to use it against you and Lucario. I use it all the time. Makes it sound really weird. Specifically.
Yeah, that's fair.
He loves his homeless man reductios, right? He's universal with it.
Anytime there's a homeless man reductio, I love it.
That's fair. So the reductio I have issue with. So we'll start with an answer which is no. So basically, if I'm correct, your reductio is if there was a homeless man, he's about to gain sentience if he stretches your wife pussy out, right? Would I be allowed to blow his would I be justified in blowing his brains out?
Wait, Free, I don't think anybody heard it in chat. Can you say it a little bit slower, more clear, louder?
Okay. So I think your hypothetical was if there was a homeless man, he is about to get sentience if he stretches your wife's pussy out.
The wife's pussy.
Blowing his brains out.
Yes.
Right. Is that the hypothetical?
That is the hypothetical.
Okay.
So number one, I think that it's disanalogous. Two, I'll give you both answers when we get off why I think it's disanalogous. We can get with answer which is no and answer which is yes. My personal answer would be it would kind of be no, and I'll get to why. But I want to start with the why it's disanalogous. So in your hypothetical, or how I understand it, it is this homeless man. The only way to kill him, right? Or sorry, not to kill him, but the only way to stop him is to kill him. But I don't think that is actually relevant, or not relevant. I don't think that's analogous to a pregnancy case. Because if I was to actually make this homeless man some baby or some child who is like throwing a tantrum and wants to like go into your wife's pussy, and he was like, well, I can just like push him off or like get him out of the room or something like that. Now, this is important, although it doesn't seem like it. It's very important because that's literally an abortion case, a C-section, right? A C-section is literally relevant to what we are talking about. And if you want to really apply your rape case, then it's really just going to be a issue, because then you would have to apply it as a C-section as a better case, and it would be then unjustified to commit an abortion.
In a case where you could just get rid of the child through like non-lethal means, and it's like a C-section is an option, where it's like at that point, one is I already think it has a moral value, so I'll grant you that it's in that situation you shouldn't kill it. And two, if you could transfer the fucking even for zygotes, if you could transfer the zygote outside of the womb and have it grown in a lab, then I would say yeah, killing it as opposed to transferring it to one of these tanks, that would be wrong. But we don't currently have that tech, and so that's why I think it's okay to abort.
Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, if that's then the case, then my answer would be no. Okay. Now the reason why it would be no is because I think what you imply a principle, and I think it's kind of related to the utilitarianist ethics, but I'm not too sure. So
sorry, can I clarify here? You said your answer is no. I want to ask the question how I kind of normally throw it out, and then you tell me if your answer is no to that, because I'm a little confused about if you're biting the bullet. Would it be okay if a homeless man was running into your house? He had no idea what was going on, so internally he's innocent. But what he was going to do physically is break into your house with the front door, and then he's gonna fucking assault your wife. Is it okay for you to shoot him? Your answer would be no?
Yeah, in a case where I have the knowledge that he's not sentient, and I'll understand, and I'll explain why. I know it seems like a crazy bullet, but it's really not, because I would have to bite a very much harder bullet if I accept the thing you're talking about. The reason why I think that is because you have a principle, if you're holding to this, which is that, well, if something is causing me suffering or is causing me some form of pain, I'm justified in kind of terminating it, to be precise.
Not always, not categorically.
Not gonna, but it means I'm stopping it, not like terminating it, but stopping it from happening, right? To like just
not
stop,
categorically.
Like,
there are some situations where you shouldn't.
Some situations where you would be justified in stopping pain. Not justified in stopping pain.
Yes, correct. There are situations where you cause more, ones where you aren't maximizing utility by doing so, right? So ones where you cause more suffering in order to alleviate some small amount of pain yourself. So if I was going to stub my toe and the only way to stop it was to like blow some guy's brains out, that would obviously be wrong, even though I'm alleviating pain.
Yeah, but in a case of abortion and in general cases, let's just say general cases, you wouldn't think that's the case, right?
Generally, in most abortion cases, no, I don't think anything analogous is happening there. I think that in most abortion cases, the thing being killed is A, not sentient, which you even loaded into the homeless guy example. You said even if the homeless guy wasn't sentient, you still think you don't have the permission, or it's still not allowed morally for you to kill him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if he's non-sentient. If in the case where he's non-sentient, I don't even have a moral qualm about it. Now it's an easy question. It was a hard thing. It's a hard shot to make when he's sentient, but if he's not, then there's literally no empathy there even. So in a situation where there's, in most abortion cases, there's no sentience involved, because obviously it happens very early on. 99% of them are wet before the first 13 weeks. So I know there's some dispute, but it seems like the general view in the science is about 25 weeks. Some people say it's a bit earlier than that, but clearly the vast majority of abortion cases are not happening to something with sentience. In those situations, yeah, I've got no issue with it. Absolutely.
Okay, so the sentience, okay, yeah, I think that most of what you said was trivial about the sentience position, but I just want to be clear on this. In a case of like a general case, not something, if you can stop it without like causing more harm or something like that, do you think you're justified in stopping harm by doing an equally harmful thing, or like something which is less harmful in that case?
If it's less harmful, then yes, yeah.
Okay, so what that entails, and that is, I'll explain why. What that entails is that you're justified in doing it now. And it entails a principle: if it causes you harm now, then you're justified in terminating it now, or
I didn't make it time relative. I'm talking about aggregate utility, right? So it doesn't just matter what's happening right now, also in the future matters, and it matters equally regardless of what time it happens. Just like it matters equally regardless of what position it happens. I don't think that somebody is somebody in a faraway country is less deserving of rights because they're distant from me. I also don't think people in faraway times are less deserving of rights because they're distant temporally.
Okay, but I'm saying, wait, so in like a case of like future pain, then is that also what you're implying?
Yeah, and I'm a natalist. So if you're going to run the argument of like, do you think it's the case that you're that it's bad for the world, that you like remove one life from it. I'm going to give you the argument I normally give, which is just that I don't think it's the case that I don't think it's the case that abortions reduce the overall population by any substantial margin. They alleviate far more suffering than the potential joys that would have been caused by the small fraction of lives that would have happened otherwise. The overall number of abortions is not equivalent to the number of lives prevented, because individuals can have an abortion, then have a kid later. And individuals who have a kid might end up having an abortion because of the fact they already have kids. We see this as a very common reason for abortion. So I don't think it's the case that it's like it doesn't make you infertile in the vast majority of cases, right?
Yeah,
so it's
but
still
I think
fine.
I think for like the case of like financial cases and all those cases that you bring up, I think that those are pretty common. But I think I want to get on something now, which is very important. If you're also for the future pain, then I'll ask you two things, and I'll have to ask them both at the same time. You'll realize what's relevant. One, why are you valuing for the potential pain and not for the potential life of a fetus? And the second one is just going to be, okay, if that is the case, do you think that mothers who want their baby are accounting for pain in your view?
I think that the mothers who want to keep their baby are probably accounting for their own pain. I think it's based on their own preferences. In a situation where somebody doesn't want to have a kid, and in a situation where somebody does want to have a kid, the effects of having a kid are going to be very different on them. The person who doesn't want to have a kid is going to suffer a lot more. The person who does want to have a kid, I don't think a kid should be born to somebody who isn't going to love that parent. I think it's probably going to make that kid less happy. It's going to make that kid pretty miserable. In fact, it might make their life so bad that ends up, because of all the extra externalities, things like meat eating and so on, it ends up being that their life is a net negative on average, and they just want to kill themselves the entire
But
time.
I think there's an issue that, but I think the issue that you're kind of running into then is, if that is the case for the mothers that want the baby, and you're saying something that is going to be in correspondence to some preference they have, are you saying that in those cases, like desire is something which is over preference? Desire something, sorry, not over preference. Desire something over pain and suffering?
Desire is something which relates to pain and suffering, right? So accomplishing your desires will give you pleasure. Having your desires subverted will cause you pain and suffering.
No, that can be correlated, but you do realize that like no matter what her pain, like
I don't
pain
think
and
it's
suffering.
correlated. I think what it means to desire something is a matter of prediction of your own pain and pleasure at that thing.
I don't think what the pleasure is correlated to suffering. I think you can agree on this if I kind of elaborate. So in a case of like Future 2's example that you I think brought against AI or AY, sorry, which you also said was if I had no preference, I would know what pain feels like. I don't know if you still hold to that view, but if you agree to what I'm saying, then you are going to realize that no matter the preferences in an abortion case or pregnancy case, if she does have a preference to keep the child, she'll still feel this mental pain and this everything, no matter what her preference for the child is. Right? So are you saying preference here is over pain and suffering?
No, I'm saying that preference is something which relates to pain and suffering.
Yeah, I know I can relate to that, but it's not correlated in a sense where like
it is.
It's relevant to this case.
They're both correlated, and even more than just correlated. It's part of the definition of the other. So what it means to desire something is something about your prediction of the pleasure, the pleasure and pain of it being of the action, or the pleasure and pain of that thing that you desire. So to say you desire something would mean that you predict it will please you.
But it won't please you to like get a baby, get out of the womb. That is like one of the biggest natural pains in the whole world.
No, it absolutely will. In many cases, it does please people to give birth, right? So you can say something like, in the moment, it causes them a lot of pain, but the course of consequences of that action ends up being something that's a net positive for a lot of people. Most people who have kids would say that, yeah, I'm glad I had kids.
Wait, so then...
Because it caused my life to be better. I had a better quality of life because of the fact that I had kids. I was more pleased because I had kids. This is a pretty common experience for a lot of parents.
So, but I don't. Number one, there's two things there. Number one, I do believe that no matter what my preference was towards something, I think that pain and suffering stays the same. That is like one of the points of pain and suffering. It is like a qualia that developed right in that way, which I don't think, no matter what the preference is, and even if I had no preference at all, I would know what it feels like. Right? I don't think that preference. I think preference can be correlated to it, and that's something which will make me go through the pain and suffering. But that is not something which is correlated to the pain and suffering correctly. There's not one-on-one correlation there. And the second thing...
what you're saying is just that you're able to... It's not a sufficient condition to have a preference. It's not a sufficient condition to just have pain and pleasure. I agree with that. But if you have preferences, then you have pain and pleasure. So it sounds like what you're doing is you're giving me a counter argument, which is based on flipping my antecedent and my consequent, and then you're arguing against that. No, I agree. If somebody said, if you feel pain and pleasure, then you have a preference, don't agree. That's not a claim that I subscribe to. I think it's wrong. But if somebody says, if you have a preference, then you feel pain and pleasure, that's something I do agree to, something I do subscribe to.
Yeah, but I think that the thing that I'm trying to show you is like in a case whether like mother didn't want it or did want it, I think that there's no distinction in the pain they're feeling. I think that there's like the only distinction that there is going to be is the mother is just going to go through that suffering and that mental anguish because she wants the baby.
No,
it's just a preference thing.
Here's your confusion. You're only thinking about the moment of giving birth. You're not thinking about all of the other effects of giving birth.
Yeah, obviously, because that's when the pain happens.
No, there's more. Nope, it's not. There's more pain that happens afterwards.
I mean, if we're adding on like unnecessary like context, which is like she's gonna have to carry the baby in terms of like financially. She's
gonna be 9 months of it's gonna be 9 months of pregnancy, and then you're gonna give birth, right? And if you made the decision to give birth, then there are certain consequences. Like for example, in the moment, at the exact moment of giving birth, there's pain caused by the actual vaginal stretching and yada yada. Then there's afterwards, there's pain involved with the recovery. And then if you didn't want to have a kid, there's a lifetime of pain of you got a kid around that you don't actually love, which is probably a miserable fucking experience. I can only imagine.
Is like the greatest pain that happens the one where the baby's coming out of the womb?
No, probably not. I would imagine that if I had to choose between, well, here's your option. Imagine you have to raise a child who you don't love, or you have to experience call it a couple of hours of giving birth. Which one would you pick? Would you experience the pain of giving birth, or you'd raise a child for 18 years that you don't love, as opposed to just the pain of giving birth for a couple hours?
Yeah, and I can explain why.
Holy fuck! If that's how the utility calculus works out for you, you have a very different psychology than me, or probably most other people. But I would really strongly recommend, and it's lucky for you, I recommend never getting pregnant.
No, the thing that I'm trying to maybe it's not intuitive to you or other people, but the reason why I think I would be kind of justified outside of my personal intuitions is because pain from pregnancy when the baby enters the womb, enters the world out of the womb in those 9 months. If I was to experience that, and not just if I was to experience that experience itself is one of the, and I think there are studies for this, one of the greatest natural pains in terms of like, how do I say this? In terms of strength, I guess. In terms of like the strength of it, that's like
no, I agree.
The worst natural pain.
If it was 18 years of experiencing that would obviously be worse. But if it's only a few hours of it versus 18 years long of raising a child that you don't love, that you didn't want, that's not just even ignoring all the negative effects of that fucking child, how much suffering that's going to cause that kid. The effects on you are still fucking massive. 18 years of taking care of a kid who you don't love? Oh no, I'd easily, every single fucking time, choose a couple of hours of the pain of giving birth.
Yeah, but I don't think that's pain though. I don't think that it's pain to raise a child who I don't love for 18 years.
It causes you suffering. You suffer through it.
I mean, it can, but that's like there's a leap there. Because like I can give you a direct one-on-one correlation for the pregnancy, like when the baby enters out of the womb, but I cannot give you that correlation as far as like, or the not direct, but some like utility calculus for like the psychological states of like a person going through that. I can never give you that, and I don't think you would be able to give me something certain either.
I don't think it's necessary for you to give me that. I think all that's necessary is for you to just be able to compare these two options here. I think maybe you hold a different view than most people, but over here in this camp, right? And if you hold a different view than most people do, that's fine. But the relevant thing is what would happen in most people's situation. And the thing that happened in most people's situation is that, the pain of giving birth, right? That part of it would be, even though it would be a lot of suffering, especially if you didn't want to have the kid, that would be wildly outweighed by the 18 fucking years of raising a kid who you don't love.
I think that's fair, but I think it's kind of fair that I hold a different intuition. I don't know statistics. Maybe you do, but maybe I would hold some different intuition than other people. But I think that's fine. I want to cut like a context here. let's just say I don't love it, I don't want it, and I give it up for adoption. What then?
In the
What is like
situation
then the excuse?
yeah, in the situation, there's not an excuse. The situation there, if it was the case that you gave the kid up for adoption because of the fact that you didn't want to raise the kid for 18 years, then I think that's a perfectly fine decision. But I think if you had a little bit more time to think about it, probably should have just gotten an abortion. So in the situation where a kid's given up for adoption, at least in the U.S., that is an incredibly, incredibly awful system. As somebody who's been through the foster care system in the U.S., it's not very good. If you could, instead of having that kid live through the foster care system, you could have simply got an abortion, then waited longer, then had some kid down the line. That'd be much better.
Okay, so I don't know as far as the U.S. goes, but I could guarantee that it's not all like that in most countries. But I could.
Not all of them.
Maybe that's crazy.
But in the vast majority, it's worse. The U.S. has one of the better ones in comparison to the globe because most of the globe is living in squalor, right? The U.S. they've got a really, really bad foster care system. Yeah. Most countries have worse ones.
No, well, how about this? It's like if what you're accounting for is if that's what we are accounting for, like in a case of like mother doesn't want the child, and that's like gonna cause suffering. Let's just say put it up for adoption, and then we are accounting for the baby's future desires not to be in a foster care. Why then are we evaluating it now? So I don't understand it.
So if you here's a way we can get to the concept here. If you had to estimate, right? People obviously have a bias. Even in situations where the utility is a net negative, they have a bias towards being alive. Do we agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so even in a situation where a person probably
you shouldn't have said that. I'll
you agree with that.
Go ahead.
You agree with that?
I don't think you should agree to it, but I'll explain why later. But you can.
Okay. But here's the thing. So if people were being perfectly rational, probably the number of individuals who want to kill themselves probably would go up by some factor, right?
Wait, sorry, can you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, because of the fact that people have an irrational bias, right? They have an irrational bias in favor of not dying because we are a product of evolution. The ones who died ended up being the ones who didn't pass on their genes. People have a bias in favor of not killing themselves. So if people were being totally unbiased, purely rational, we'd probably see an increase in the rate of suicidality. Agreed?
Yeah, but I don't think you would care for that because you believe
hold on. There's a next step to this.
Okay, so sure, go ahead.
Just to make the point. So there'd probably be an increase. Judging like what if you had to estimate, what factor would you say? Just a rough estimation. Like how much would you have to say the percentage is 1%? What would it be afterwards if people become rational?
If people become rational and wanted to die?
If people became rational, what factor in terms of the percentage value, right? How many more people do you think it would be the case want to kill themselves? So say, for example, if it was...
But I don't think that's the part of rationality, though.
No, it is. Hold on. So just answer... Before you say you don't think it's the point, let's try answering first just so we can get through this. So
okay, sure. The answer would be...
If it was 1% of the population... Say it's 25% of the population, right? Make it nice and simple.
Yeah.
If a quarter of the population right now wanted to kill themselves and I snap my fingers and everyone becomes perfectly rational, that rate's going to go up. What do you think it's going to go up to?
Maybe more, like way more, like 35, something like that.
35? I'd probably wager even higher than that.
I will wager higher, yeah, sure. But I don't think...
do you think if somebody said...
sure, go ahead.
I want one last point here that I'm going to make the final argument and you'll understand it. Do you think it'd be plausible even that it might be the majority? If 25% of people wanted to kill themselves before, and we fix this irrationality, this life-preserving bias, probably the majority would want to kill themselves, right?
Yeah, but that's based on the side, but go ahead, yeah, sure.
Okay, well, in terms of kids in foster care, it's about 26% who want to kill themselves. So yeah, like in terms of their lives, those are miserable fucking lives. You shouldn't bring a kid in the world to put in foster care. If you can avoid it, don't do it.
Okay, can I say something on that?
Yeah, I'm done. That's the point.
Yeah, sure. So the problem where the reason why I went on with the line of question is because I didn't want to dodge the questions, but I think you presuppose something which is very crucial. You're talking about internal desires, and there's a distinction between internal, fundamental, and objective desires. The issue that you were gonna run into is, I think you're fine with euthanasia, but I'm not too sure, so I'm not gonna run the suicide case on you. But if it was like a case of like suicide, you would probably want to stop the person from committing suicide because you have
Because
like
I think
this
their lives
fundament.
can be fixed. If their life couldn't be fixed,
Yeah.
if they were going to live the same quality, no, I'd probably say that, yeah, you have a right to be able to kill yourself. And I think that's true for that's the reason I support euthanasia.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
I used to
think
not, so that's fair to not know that.
yeah, that's fair. But the thing that you kind of run into is, I think there's a fundamental desire that like even non-sentient beings have, which is like now it's gonna be very very hard to imagine this, because I do know why you would kind of be confused for non-sentient beings to have desires, but there is a thing where plants, they're just like acting out to survive. For example, they're acting out on drinking water, doing the photosynthesis, getting the sugar they have to eat, right? This is all acting out because they have an objective desire to live, even though it's like not within them, right?
What?
Even though they cannot like
No, I don't think they have a
about
desire
it.
to live. Do you think plants have a desire to live?
And not in a sense of a sentient being desire. They have like an objective to live. It's like something
don't
which
think
is
it's an
within them
objective
and within
either.
their system, within their biology. That they're
You're
just acting
using-
out to live.
I understand what you're saying. You're using objective in a kind of a very proprietary, probably a weird way, and you might even agree with that. But
I'm using
just,
like an objective list theory would. That is
really.
the issue.
No, not really, because what you're talking about are not objectives in the sense that most people use that term. What you're talking about is just this shit happens. It's like a cause and effect of their mechanisms. That's fine. I understand what you're saying. We can go ahead with that.
Yeah,
I just want to clarify if that's what you're saying. If you think if that's not what you're saying, I've captured it wrong, then clarify it for me.
Yeah, so I think that to maybe further clarify, it's kind of a mechanism. You're kind of right on that. It's kind of like a mechanism that's like literally their biology. Like the same way, like for example, imagine a case where, let's just say you're hypothetical, like the rape man. It's like he's just acting out, right? He doesn't. His objective, right, is to become sentient. His objective, but he doesn't like. Although he doesn't maybe want it, maybe he wants it. I mean,
yeah, but hold on. We don't care about the kind of we don't care about the quote objectives in the sense that plants have them, right? Like we don't give a fuck about that morally.
I mean, it depends. It kind of depends. I'll give you why. So in a case of like, let's just say that there were like 10 plants and you needed them to survive, you will kind of care about them because of their instrumental indispensability to you, right?
Yeah, because of what they can do for me. I don't care about them morally, right? Like I care about them morally in the sense that I care about what they can do for my maximization of utility. I don't think they matter.
Wait, so just one thing there, it's very important. So I think that in a case of like a fetus and in a case of like a plant, I think there's a distinction just for the sole fact that obviously you wouldn't value a plant in a sense of like intrinsic value, but the fact that you would not be justified in terminating it for the sole reason that it can do stuff for you because of its instrumental necessity for you to breathe.
No,
and
you're obviously justified.
You wouldn't do it, right?
No, you're obviously justified in killing plants. What the fuck are you talking about? If in any way it brings you even a fucking minuscule increase in utility to fucking kill a plant, then you can kill a plant if you want to. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
you disagree?
If there were 10 plants on like Earth, I would disagree.
Yeah, but there's not 10 plants on Earth. If it was the last 10 plants, yeah, then I would say that if you do kill one of those plants, it's not going to bring you a minuscule increase in utility. It's going to bring you a catastrophic decrease.
Wait, so one thing, would you not care for any of what plants do because of the sentience part?
I care about what they can do for me. I don't care about plants intrinsically.
Yeah, I'm asking you, why would you not have intrinsic value because of the sentience part? Is that the reason?
That's right.
Oh, okay. So now that runs into an issue. So in a case of like, is it because of like they can feel harm, they can feel subjective experiences? Is that like the qualification under your view to like be like valued?
You're roughly close to that. It's not just about being able to in the moment. I also care about future value. So in the case of the fetuses, I think we ought to calculate in, is it the case that their future value is going to outweigh whatever the considerations of the moment are? I just don't think that is the case for a fetus that the parents don't want. I think that probably it's a bad thing to bring a kid into the world that you don't want to raise.
So then in a case of like, just so I'm clear. So in a case of the sentient, like the prima facie, sorry, you would value a fetus, but because of overriding considerations, probably of some utility thing, you would say that it's okay.
I don't value the fetus. I don't value the fetus, but in the like an instrumental sense, I probably do. But in like an intrinsic sense, I don't value the fetus. In like the sense of I think the fetus can be used to make a new thing in the future, I do value that. And we keep saying fetus here. Really, the things that I'm talking about aborting are like zygotes and embryos. Not really a big fan of fetus abortions in general. But the vast majority of abortions are not happening to something with sentience, which is the thing that I care about here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that future experiences and subjective experiences in a way that they can feel harm, and that I don't think that's a relevant thing. Like, I can give you a hypothetical to why it's not. In a case of like and I can explain why. I know that you're kind of shocked at that, but the reason why it's a problem, I don't care about that, is like, in a case of like there's somebody, a kid with cancer, right? She's gonna die in 2 years.
Yeah.
If I was and like she wants to live her life or something like that, she has this desire, something like that, right? She doesn't know that she'll feel this like great pain or something. If I was able to like kill her with the disease, I don't know if you're familiar with the disease, mononucleosis is basically like one of your organs growing. It's a kissing disease. It's like through saliva and something. That's how it's connected. Basically, that via that disease, you die. If you die out of it, you won't know it. You literally just faint. You won't know anything, right? If I was like, okay, she won't feel pain, she won't feel anything. Well, in that case, if I was able to do that before she like dies out of cancer, like 1 year or something like that, I wouldn't do it. I would let her live her life.
So you would take off 1 year of this. You're thinking the hypothetical is you can take off a year of this person's life or not do it?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're saying that you think that for some reason my view would entail that it's okay to take off a year of her life?
Yeah.
No, it obviously wouldn't. That's a year of her life that she's going to be sentient for.
Yeah, but that's kind of an issue, because the reason why you said for sentience. No, it is an issue, because even under your view, because
then isn't it an issue for your view too? Because if it's an issue, it's an issue. You agree with it?
It's not really under my view, but the reason why it's an issue under yours, though, it's because if it's about pain and experiences about that part, well, in this case, she doesn't feel that at all. She will faint. She won't notice that. You realize that, right?
She's gonna faint and she won't notice it, but there's a unit of time here, 1 year, in which she would have felt things that you've just taken away.
So it's about feeling. Yeah. Oh, okay.
This is why I told you earlier about the abortion cases. I keep telling you this over and over again. I do care about calculating in the future experiences that they would have had otherwise if you don't kill them. I care about calculating that in. I just don't think they're going to have very good lives if they're a kid that the parents don't want to raise.
Okay, so then let's talk about unconscious beings then. Sure, we can talk about that.
You mean non-sentient beings?
Unconscious beings, because I don't know what.
No, I still even when somebody's sleeping, they're still having pleasure and suffering. I think that if a person was always sleeping, I think it'd still be wrong to kill them. So coma patients can't kill. Somebody who's a vegetable and totally brain dead, they're not going to unvegetable themselves. Kill them. Fuck it, I don't give a fuck.
But then you do realize that. Oh, I don't understand what sentience desires and sentience experiences are. Like, I really don't understand that.
What?
I do understand for conscious though. I don't understand for sentience things though.
So you've been asleep before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you were unconscious then, right?
I mean, in a sense, yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't non-sentient then, right?
No.
Then you do understand it. There we go.
No, I don't understand for what it means for a desire to be unconscious. I don't understand that part.
Oh, I don't think I brought up
unconscious
desire. I don't think I brought up unconscious desires. But like obviously, what it mean for an unconscious? Yeah, but you brought it up, so I don't know why I would need to define it. If you don't know what it means, why did you bring it up?
No, because the reason why I don't know what that means is because I thought you would correlate it to that.
You brought it up. If you don't know what it means, I didn't bring it up. So if you don't know what it means, then I don't know.
Yeah, but it's relevant to
why did you bring it up? How do you know? You don't even know what it means.
Because, I don't know what it means, but that's what it sounded like that you were saying. But you didn't bring it up.
No, but you said I didn't say it. You said it.
Desires. No, you didn't bring it up, but that's what it sounded like you were bringing up. That's
you don't know what I'm sorry, you don't know what this means, but you think that what I was talking about sounds like it's the same thing?
Yeah, but in a different sense.
What?
So again, I'll explain this. So if you're referring to some sentience and like they're feeling stuff while they're unconscious, right? To me, that seems like just a conjunction of unconscious and like experiences. But when you put them into conjunction, unconscious experiences and like unconscious desires, I don't know what that means. I know like you can put a conjunction of two words, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah, but you're the one who brought these terms up. I didn't say them. You did.
Yeah, but well, you brought
So
up
if you don't know
that
if
somebody
you don't know
can
what they mean,
experience things when they're
look,
unconscious.
this is a
No?
pro debating tip. This is the final synth amp to free. I'm charging it up. The spirit ball is above my head. I'm throwing it at you. And what I'm telling you is don't use words that you don't know the meaning of. Just bring them up. Like, that's
You
not
s-
relevant. Wait,
but you said
you said that you agree. I didn't
uh-huh.
bring this up. You did. And you're saying you don't know what these terms mean. You're the ones who invoke the terms.
Okay, so did you not say while they are conscious they can still feel things? You
Yeah,
did, right?
while you're sleeping, yeah, you can still feel
Uh-huh.
things.
Okay, so
You can feel something
like dreaming,
externally
right?
that interacts with your dream. You can also have the dream itself, and in the dream, you can be feeling something. So you can
And
suffer because of a dream, like you can have a nightmare.
oh wait, that's where the confusion comes in. Okay, the reason why I'm correlating the unconscious desires thing is because that's what I wanted to bring about before. Because what I'm trying to get you to is pain and suffering, right? As far as like the abortion case goes, are gonna be um, overpowered by preferences and desires. But I want to know what that would be under unconsciousness. That is the thing that I'm trying to get you to, and that's the thing that we've been talking about.
Yeah, like
I don't know how long.
imagine how it feels when you're having a dream and like you want to do something in the dream, and then like you can't do it in the dream, so you get like afraid or upset in the dream. You're
Yeah,
unconscious, but you are sentient, right?
I mean, I don't. Let's just say I'm a person who has never remembered their dream, which can be common. What about that? How does it feel to have
Then you
that
don't remember
desire?
it. Then you don't remember it, but it happens still.
But but that's the point. I don't know like I don't know what that is. That is
You,
the issue.
you don't know what it would be like to have something happen to you and then not remember it?
No, I don't know what it feels like to want something that I never
Do not
wanted
get your
in
perms taken
unconsciousness.
away.
I'm not even sure I understand what your argument is here. You're saying what you don't understand is the idea of somebody experiencing something in a dream and then forgetting about it when they wake up?
I'm not talking about that. Let me clarify. So what I'm talking about is, let's just say I was a person who never remembered their dream or something like that, right? And let's just say, in that case, they now went into a coma and they're not remembering their dreams, right? In that case, that someone or that somebody, they don't have any desires. Agreed?
Huh? No, what the fuck? Just because of the fact you don't remember what you were desiring doesn't mean you don't have any desires.
Okay.
You can
Then,
have forgotten a desire and still have other desires that you have in the moment. You can have had a previous desire. There's like a million different things that work out there. I'm not even sure how this at all helps your argument. So it's been what, I think 40 minutes now. I'm just kind of like letting you go where you want to go with it. I kind of want to get this debate on rails. So moving forward here, in the case of an abortion, what is it about a zygote that gives it moral value? What does a zygote have that a sperm doesn't, for example?
I mean, the thing that it gives. Okay, so I'll ask you then. You will understand, and that's why it's relevant to the value. If there was a kid who never
What?
trained anything, and there is,
I thought you were
and
going to
is
answer
never
my
gonna
question. You're
train.
asking me a
Yeah,
question?
that gives you a value. That gives you a value. But
Okay.
I'll correlate to a zygote. So if there was a kid who never intends on training, is never gonna train, and doesn't train, and is never become a professional, I don't know, basketball player, right? And you have somebody who is training every single day, right, to be a pro basketball player. Who would you value more in terms of like who you want to, in terms of like professional, being like a professional basketball player? Who would you
Which one
value
do I think
more?
would be a better? That's not the same question. Who do I think would be a better basketball player? Is what you're asking, or who do I personally morally value more?
No. Do you think that there's a difference between potentials and that's like, do you realize that there's like a difference there?
A difference between what somebody can potentially be in the future and what they currently are.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Now, is there a difference between a sperm and a zygote in those two cases?
In the basketball player case?
Yeah, I'll just relate that to a
Yeah,
pregnancy case.
statistically there's a difference. Like most sperm don't end up becoming full grown people at the same rate that zygotes do. But is that your moral barometer, just the rate?
No, it's different types of potential. That's
Okay,
the
what's
thing
the
that I'm trying to
difference in the
explain to you.
type of potential?
Because sperm, without being fertilized, it can be whatever it wants to be. It will never go through the evolutionary process of pregnancy. Well, zygote
Without being
will.
fertilized, it won't. And a zygote won't ever become a person if it doesn't go through the process of becoming an embryo and then becoming a fetus, and that requires a womb.
Yeah.
So then what's the actual difference here?
I mean, if you terminate it, it won't. Or if it goes through a miscarriage, it won't. But
yeah, so all the aborted fetuses won't do that, right? So like, I want to be clear here. What is the difference? What kind of potential does the zygote have that the sperm doesn't? What kind of potential?
Maybe. Okay,
just
so
the amount, like, because you said not frequency, not statistics.
In a case of a sperm, do you think, let's just say that the sperm it never gets fertilized, but it's in the mother or something like that? Do you think that it will ever become a human?
The sperm never gets fertilized, and it's in the mother.
Yeah, like it's before, like I don't know, like maybe it failed. Maybe it is like before it enters the womb. Maybe it's
yeah, just like I agreed they would never become a human, just in the same way that biparental moles will never become a human. They have undergone fertilization.
What moles?
Biparental moles?
I've never heard that term in English, probably, but
it's a type of mold. It's like it's a type of mold that forms because it's a type of tumor, so to speak, that forms in the inside of the uterus at the moment of or slightly after fertilization. And it's got the genes from both. It's got the genes from both the mother and the father in this situation.
Okay, so if it's okay, so I'll just then ask you this. Let's just say, hypothetically, obviously in this type, I don't know if this is physically possible, but I think it can be logically possible. So, in a case of like the sperm being on the womb, and this is the last time I'm talking about it because I am kind of gonna get this kind of relevant point, but just for this clarity, if there was like a sperm was just like in mother's womb, but it's not fertilized or something like that, right? Would it ever become quote unquote person or like this thing that you value?
If it was never fertilized, probably not. No, I answered this question already, but can you answer my question?
What was your question? I forgot it.
You said they have different types of potential, the sperm and the zygote. What types of potential does one have the other doesn't?
I mean, outside of like the Aristotelian terms like active and passive, I would just tell you like something like one actually has the ability to become this in like the not even like in the future, but it's instrumentally indispensable to becoming this, and one isn't.
Yeah, so you're saying one has the ability and one doesn't have the ability. And you gave active and passive potentials as your differences?
Yeah, and one is like instrumentally dispensable, one isn't.
And what do you think? What's your account of the distinction between an active and a passive potential?
Yeah, in the account, I mean, I think you've heard about the Aristotelian terms about that, but basically it's just like in the case of that, my account is just going to be that the active potential, and that's why I brought the basketball case. Fetus and them have active potential in a way that they're undergoing this process to becoming this thing. Sperm isn't. Even if it was in the womb, sperm isn't doing that.
What if I say yeah, it is? What if I say yeah, it is in the process of becoming a human being? It's just that most of them don't end up doing that. Most of them fail at that process. How do you argue against that?
So sperm went through the fertilization, but it's never going to become this?
No, it never went through fertilization, but it's still part of the process.
Okay, there you go.
No, not there I go. It's still part of the process, isn't it?
No.
No, a sperm is not part of the process of developing into a human? I say it is. How do you argue against it?
Yes. Fertilizes.
I say it is before it's fertilized. How do you argue against it?
that it's false. Like you cannot get
Okay,
into an
give me an
evolutionary
argument. You're
process.
saying nah, but what is the argument for nah?
The argument for not is that if it's quote unquote not fertilized, then it can never undergo process. It doesn't abort it or it doesn't go into miscarriage.
Why would I grant that?
It won't, because that's how
It's not fertilized. Nope, it's not how pregnancy goes. If it's not fertilized, it can still be. Okay, so if it's not fertilized, it'll never go through this process. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's not fertilized, can it become fertilized in the future?
Yeah.
And then if it became fertilized in the future, would it undergo that process?
If it did, yeah.
Okay, so that's a contradiction.
Yeah, but if it was never fertilized...
Yeah, it is a contradiction. You recognize it as being a contradiction?
It's not really a contradiction.
Here's the contradiction. Here's the contradiction. You say, if it is not fertilized, then it can never go through the process. You've also said, if it is not fertilized, then it can be fertilized in the future, and if it is fertilized in the future, then it will undergo the process.
Wait, can you repeat that, sorry? So...
Okay, here's one claim you made. You said, you agreed to this, right? This is one half of the contradiction. You said, if it is not fertilized, then it cannot ever undergo the process. That was one thing you agreed to. I thought that was crazy.
Never fertilized, yeah.
And I said, and then I said, I disagree with that. And then you said, nuh-uh. And then I said afterwards, okay, here's the other half of the contradiction. If it is not fertilized, then it can be fertilized, and if it is fertilized, then it will go through that process.
A lot of those people.
So wait,
which means that it can. So under different conditions, it will happen. Therefore, it can do it.
There's an issue. There's an issue. In a first claim, that sperm never becomes fertilized. Yeah, I said that will never become the thing. Yeah.
You said if it is not fertilized, it can never go through this process.
Yeah, it was a reference to it can never go through the process if it's never fertilized.
If it's never fertilized, but it can be fertilized, right?
In a case where it cannot be fertilized, yeah.
Nope, not in a case where it cannot be fertilized. Sperms generally can be fertilized,
I don't understand
right?
what you said.
I know you don't understand. Listen, just listen closely and answer the question directly. So sperms can be fertilized, right?
Can be, yeah.
Okay, so sperms do have the ability to undergo this process, right?
If they're fertilized, yeah.
Even if they're not fertilized, sperms generally can be fertilized, so they have the ability to be fertilized.
Well, without being fertilized, no, obviously they don't.
Look, just please listen closely. Free. If a sperm is not fertilized currently, can it be fertilized in the future?
If two people meet, yeah.
Okay, so the answer to can a sperm be fertilized is generally yes.
Can it be fertilized?
Generally, yes. Okay, generally sperms have the ability to be fertilized, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and if a sperm is fertilized, then it will undergo this process, right? Generally?
Undergo this process?
Of becoming a human.
I mean, if they do, then yeah, they're going to undergo the process. I don't understand this.
Okay, I know you don't understand it. Let's listen, okay? You're going to understand it in the future. Right now, you don't understand it, but we'll go there. So, sperms do have the ability then, because they have the ability to be fertilized. They are able to be fertilized, and if they are fertilized, they will generally undergo this process, meaning sperms generally have the ability to undergo this process. Agreed?
Repeat the last part, sorry.
Sperms generally have the ability to undergo the process necessary to become a full-grown human.
Fertilized ones, yeah.
Nope. Non-fertilized ones have the ability to be fertilized at very, very high rates.
Oh, fertilized? And it sounds like
unfertilized ones have the ability to become fertilized ones, right?
Yeah, two people meet, have sex, yeah.
The vast majority of sperm even. Probably upwards of 95%. Agreed?
I don't know the statistics, but whatever the statistic is, sure.
Sure. So you're willing to grant that probably about 95%, probably more, probably very high number of sperm have the ability to be fertilized, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And if we can even narrow it down to just the sperm that are able to be fertilized, but 95+% can be fertilized. Then, of the ones that are fertilized, you think generally, I'm not sure what you want to give it. This just, you want to go with like 95% to make the math easy? 95% can become a human?
Yeah, because they're fertilized.
Okay. That means the vast majority of sperm then have the ability to become a human. Agreed? They just have to have the right conditions.
Yeah, because they're fertilized. What?
Nope. The vast majority of sperm are not fertilized. Most sperm are unfertilized, and yet they still have the ability.
Okay, Synth.
Right?
I'll because I want to. Sure. Whatever it is.
Sure. Oh no, not whatever it is. Is the answer yes or no?
I really didn't listen to that because there's
okay. Then
we're
gonna lock back in. We're gonna roll back over, and you can tell me what the issue is afterwards. It's very simple. So no, I don't want to. I don't want. I asked. I answered your question. It has been 10 minutes of me asking you questions now. I answered 40 minutes of yours. I looked at the time, and when I said to you, I've let you control the conversation so far. Now I kind of want to get it back on the rails. That was at 5:40 p.m. Now it's been 12 minutes of me asking you questions, and you've answered very few of them.
Okay, yeah.
So don't say how many questions do I have to answer of yours.
Yeah,
I've given you 40 minutes straight of answering your questions, and you've given me very little answering of my questions. So I'm going to re-ask the same question. Don't synth me. Just answer my question. Yes, I want to be able to ask you questions now. Don't tell me listen. Answer my argument. Respond to what I'm saying. Because it is very. It's not fair because it's been 12 minutes of me doing this to you, and it's been 40 minutes of you doing it to me. And for some reason, now all of a sudden, I can't ask you questions anymore. Yes, it is the case. I have it timed. Okay, here's what we can do. How much would you want to bet? No, hold on. You hold on. So, how much would you want to bet that at 5:40 p.m. what I told you, you got 40 fucking minutes. You got 40 fucking minutes straight of it.
It really cannot shout. It really cannot shout.
You don't need to shout. You don't need to shout. Just answer my questions. You don't need to say anything. You need to listen to the question you didn't hear. No, I'm not going to listen to shit from you because you haven't listened to shit from me. You've answered nothing of mine. If you want to talk over and be interrupted, it's not going to go well for you because you can't yell right now. As you said, just respond to my question. Name one. Name one question you've answered.
Name one question that I answered. Okay, can unfertilized eggs, sperms become fertilized in the future?
Do they have the ability? The question I asked you was, do they have the ability? Listen, I'm telling you not. I'm telling you. So I'm telling you to answer your question. Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear?
Was it no?
Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear?
I'm not going to do this.
Do you want to hear?
Yes or no? Yes or no? Was it?
I just answered you with a yes or no. No, that was not the question I asked. The question I just asked you was, do you think it's the case? Do you think it's the case that sperm have the ability to go through the process of becoming a human?
Of becoming a human? Unfertilized ones or fertilized ones?
Fertilized ones are able to be fertilized, which gives them the ability, and so they have the ability now because they are able to be fertilized.
Because they're fertilized, yeah, but the ones that are unfertilized don't.
The ones that are unfertilized, yes. So your answer is no. You have answered that question now, and I'm going to keep asking you questions because it's now been 15 minutes. No, I answered 40 minutes of yours. It's been 15 minutes of mine. You're going to answer 40 minutes of mine. Then we can go back to your questions. So the question that I'm asking you, I'm going on a train of thought here. We're going to keep moving forward. So you think it's the case that they don't have the ability because they are not yet fertilized. Do you have the ability to go to college?
Me?
Yes, you.
No, I haven't applied to a college.
You don't have the ability to go to college.
Currently, no.
You don't have the ability to apply?
Oh, to apply, I do.
Do you have the ability to get a job?
Well, if I don't apply for one, no.
I'm not asking you if you don't apply for one. Do you have the ability to get a job?
That's a loaded question.
No, it is not a loaded question. That's not what loaded means. Do you
yeah,
have the ability to get a job, yes or no?
I told you the answer.
Do you so no, you don't have the ability to get a job?
If I don't apply for one, no. If I do, then yes.
No. Don't load in an extra condition to my fucking hypothetical like a goddamn retard. I don't know what the fuck it is with you anime people. You always have the same issue. The hypothetical is not if you don't apply for one. It's right now in the real world. You right now in the real world.
Random fucking
oh my god
conditions and
you don't have the ability to go to college. You don't have the ability to apply for a job. Yeah. Do you have the ability to score more than 20 on an IQ test?
Wait, give me a second.
Yes or no? Do you have the ability to score? Okay.
They finally let the real high tiers up, bro. Being official, bro.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. It's me, AES. I talk.
Yo, bro.
I guess it's just
I've been
like
smoking
a brief
for 50 years.
I've never smoked in my life.
I can tell.
How's everybody doing? We got the crazy Sinthe and Infinity. Oh damn,
he left. Get him back up.
Wait,
fucked
yeah,
up.
come on. We can be cordial. Hey, we're gonna bring him back up while we have this intermission. Somebody invite Infinity back up. Who did that?
I don't fucking know. Invite him back up.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'll check the logs or whatever.
Alright,
And
good
find
looks,
out
but check.
later. Yeah, you know we got the crazy Infinity and
Hold on,
Sinthe
Free's back.
reuniting. Okay,
We gotta-
he's back.
Listen,
we gotta be on a-
No.
We got to be on a short timeline here. Free. So what I'm gonna do, because I gave you 40 minutes of asking me whatever questions you wanted, and I just let you take the conversation where you wanted it to go, right? I don't want 40 minutes, but I want probably more than 50. It hasn't even really been 15. It was like fucking 12 minutes. Then you started complaining about it. So I want to be able to ask you questions for like 10 more minutes. Then you can ask me whatever you want. Currently, it's 5:58.
Before that, okay, sure. Before that, I'll answer whatever question there is. But if we get on to my point that was before, that you kind of said you wanted to get back on rails because what I was talking about was irrelevant. And two, when we're done with this, we actually can get to the your hypothetical that was actually relevant to what the conversation was.
Okay, so we are now at 5:58. I'm gonna
Is
go
that okay?
10 more minutes. Yeah, sure. It's gonna be 10 more
Yeah,
minutes, and then
sure,
at
that's
6:08, you go ahead, right? So question
Sure, go
one:
ahead.
do you have the ability to score more than 20 on an IQ test? Yes or no?
Can I clarify before I answer?
No.
Okay, but how,
You know what
how
all
can
those
I
words
answer?
mean. With a yes or a no, you know what all those words mean. You do. Actually, I'll ask it like this: yes or no? Do you understand what all the words in that question mean?
Yeah.
Okay, then you can answer the question. So, yes or no? Do you have the ability to score more than 20 on an IQ test?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Would you be able to score more than 20 on an IQ test without having paid for an IQ test or go to get one somewhere?
No.
Okay. So, without doing that, you can't score anything on an IQ test. You can't score more than 20. However, you right now still have the ability to score more than 20 because of the fact you have an ability to go apply to have an IQ test done. Correct? Yes or no?
No. Probably not.
No. Okay. So,
I'm so sorry,
no.
not. That's
So-
why I wanted to clarify. This is so. Oh my god, no.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
you know what?
This is the issue with the. This is the issue. This is the
Just
issue with
ask.
every single one of the Aristotelians. You guys, you motherfuckers, genuinely cannot answer simple questions, and you use like bizarro, wacko language. So just really clearly, you have the ability to score more than 20 on an IQ test, but you don't have the ability. Yes, you are wacky. No, they are not. Give me any empirics. Give me any empirics. You have a single empirical. You have a single. You have a single piece of experimental
better?
philosophy that demonstrates
That's how
that
I don't-
demonstrates
that's
that
how I
your
don't-
that
I
your
don't do it.
intuitions are more common.
Not
Yes
that
or
more
no?
common, but they're better.
That they're better by what? By your the standard of you
liking
liking them more?
No, by the standard which I can actually judge for. You judge them by liking more. That's why I wanted to get the conversation on the rails. But
You're not getting it on the rails. You went 40 minutes of going nowhere with it. I'm going to move the conversation forward. So, back to my question. So, I want to ask you very simply. You have the ability. You have the ability to score more than 20 on an IQ test in spite of the fact you've not applied for one, but you do not have the ability to get a job because you have not applied for one. So can you tell me what the distinction is? Why do you have the ability to score more than 20 on an IQ test, but not the ability to get a job?
So the answer to the question is just going to be that in two cases, I actually applied for a job. In one, I didn't even get an IQ test. And if you track your question, which was, would I be able to if I got a test? I said no.
Nope. I didn't say if you got a test.
No.
I'm asking you very simply, with no extra additions, just yes or no. Are you able to score more than 20 on an IQ test? Yes or no?
Well, again, it depends, but I'll say no because I know which
No.
one, but no.
No. No, you're not able to score more than 20 on an IQ test? Okay. So you're not able to score more than 20 on an IQ test. Are you able to turn an 8-year-old down if they propositioned you for sex?
If they did, yeah, I do.
Okay. Are you able to turn an 8-year-old down for sex?
If they asked me, yeah.
But if they didn't ask you, no. But if you didn't have that part, if you didn't include that condition, are you able to turn kids down for sex?
Well, obviously, I wouldn't be able to. What? No.
No, not if they don't ask you, because you're including this condition here, right? That's the fallacy you keep jumping on. You keep doing the same kind of logical fuck up where you say, under the condition where this happens, which is able to happen, which I'm able to even make happen, then I would be able to. If it's the case you can bring about the conditions in which it happens, then you are able to make it happen. That's simple, nice and easy. It's exactly how it works. If you are able to score more than 20 on an IQ test, then you're able to score more than 20 on an IQ test. Yes, you have not currently applied for any IQ test. You have not currently paid to have any done. Yet you are able to do that. You are able to pay for them to have them done. You're able to apply for them, and so you are able to score more than 20 on an IQ test. Because all these conditions, all these if X then Y's that you're throwing in there, those X's are things that you're also able to do, and so you are able to bring about that Y. You're able to bring about that consequence.
Can I do it?
If you're not able to, then you can't do it.
Great. No, you can ask. Go ahead. I think you proved my point, but you can go ahead.
What? Why would you say that at this point? No, you're clearly not proving your point. So if you think it's
go ahead. You have 5 more, I think, minutes.
So if you, yeah, I do. So it's actually more like 3 more now. Actually, fuck it. You take it. Take it away.
Let's go. Let's go. So the issue with your questions, if I never apply for an IQ test, or if I never had the ability to apply for an IQ test, then I wouldn't be able to score anything on it because I cannot apply to it. That's bullshit.
And yet you are able to apply to it. Yeah, and yet you are able to apply, aren't you?
Yeah, but if I don't, am I able to?
If you weren't able to, then you wouldn't be able to score anything on an IQ test. That's correct. But in the real world, you are able to, and so you are able to on an IQ test. There you go.
But no, that's not there you go. The reason why it's not there you go is because in a case where like I cannot apply for a IQ test, I cannot get.
Is that the real world? Is that this case?
Where someone doesn't have sex? Obviously it is.
In the real world, is it the case that you're not able to apply for an IQ test?
In a IQ test sense, well, there are some people who are isolated, and yes, it can happen.
Are you one of them?
I mean, I'm not one of them.
So are you able to apply to have an IQ test done?
I am able to.
Okay, so are you able to score more than 20 on an IQ test?
If I apply, and if I'm able to apply, then yeah.
No, I didn't ask you if you're able to apply. You are able to apply. So there's no need to add that in there. The answer to are you able to apply is yes. So you don't have to add that to the hypothetical. You don't have to add that to the question. I'm just asking you very simply, are you able to score more than 20 on an IQ test?
Score 20 on an IQ test? Yeah, because I can apply, yeah.
Okay, and so sperm, are they able to develop into a zygote? Because obviously they're able to be fertilized, right?
For some people it is, and for some people it is.
For the vast majority of sperm, are they able to be fertilized?
I mean, for the people that have sex, yeah.
Okay, so for the vast majority of sperm, is it the case? So you added this in now. For the people who have sex. Obviously, if people are able to have, if a person has sperm in them and they're able to have sex and their sperm is able to be fertilized, right?
Yeah, no, but
or their sperm is able to fertilize an egg, I should say. Okay, the answer is yes. So if the answer there is yes, it is the case the sperm is. Okay, so is it the case that sperm then, without adding any extra additions that aren't reality, in reality, are sperm able to fertilize eggs?
In a case where people have sex, yeah.
In reality, are people able to have sex?
Some people are, yeah.
Okay, in reality, is most sperm had by people who are able to have sex?
Yeah.
Okay, so in reality, is most sperm able to be fertilized or able to fertilize an egg?
Yeah, because most of them are able to go through the fertilization. Yeah.
And if an egg is able to fertilize, if a sperm is able to fertilize an egg, then it has the ability to become a human, right? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Because wait, actually, it if it's able to, then in a case that it's maybe possible. Yeah, but it's definitely not possible in a case where there's a person who is never going
Is that most cases? Is that most cases?
No,
is that most cases? Okay, then it's not relevant here because we're talking about most cases.
No.
Are most cases of sperm able to?
It's very important.
It's not important. It's not important.
It's very important. It's very important because let's just say there is a person who never has sex.
I'm gonna use this strategy. One case,
if there is even one person who doesn't have sex, then it proves my point. You realize that, right?
No, it wouldn't.
Yes,
it would mean that there's
absolutely
nope, because we were talking generally about most sperm.
Yeah, but oh my god, in a case of let's just say there's a person who never has sex, never fertilizes or anything, does that sperm, yes or no, does it have the ability to become a sentient person?
If they use in vitro fertilization, yes.
What fertilization?
In vitro. They use IVF, yes.
I don't know what that is, bro.
If they use artificial insemination, yes.
I don't. What? Did that
if they
exist,
use artificial insemination, yes. Yeah, that's how farm animals are made. Yeah. So if it's the case, they undergo artificial insemination, then yeah, without sex, they can obviously be they can be used to fertilize an egg. Yeah, of course.
Okay, so in a case where they also don't go through that artificial bullshit, will that sperm ever become a sentient person? Will it
If a
have the ability?
miracle occurs, yes.
No, not if a miracle. Which is
Yeah, it's
never
pretty
occurs.
annoying, isn't it? See, isn't that kind of a really gay way to answer questions?
Miracles. No, in my case it isn't, but in yours it is, because if a miracle.
How is Jesus made? Free. How is Jesus made?
Oh my god! No.
That's right. That's fucking right.
No. Oh my god! Listen, in a case of like the baby spawns out of the air, that something isn't, which is physically possible, is it?
If God makes it happen, of course it is.
Bro.
Yeah, it's pretty. Isn't this a really, really annoying way to answer questions by throwing in a fucking conditional instead of answering them directly? Yeah, no shit, Free. Yeah, that's a really gay way to answer questions. I'm glad you tracked.
But wait, okay. So in a case where, okay, so let's just say this: if there is in a case where God isn't able to do this, not isn't able, but doesn't do it or something like that, or he doesn't spoof a baby out of the air, can the person who's never gonna have sex get to a sentient person? Yes or no?
Yeah, if like there's sperm on.
Ability?
Yeah, of course. If there's like sperm on a thing, and then like somebody else happens to get that near the egg, then yeah. Oh, okay. Were you saying generally? Were you just asking about the general case?
No, not a general case.
Okay.
I'm telling you. Okay, so in a thing where there is just a man, nothing exists in a hypothetical world where nothing can happen, nothing exists, nothing. Will this person ever be able to get to a sentient person?
In a world where nothing exists, there's no sperm. So there's a contradiction in the hypothetical.
You're a troll. You are a troll.
That's right. I am trolling you because you fucking answered questions like this. This is a stupid, annoying way to answer questions. You shouldn't do this. Instead of saying yes or no, I'm going to say if this condition, just assume the
questions with the yes
do
or
you
no
know what?
Clarity.
Do you know what? Okay, if somebody said something like there's a ceteris paribus condition, you would get that what that means? I think I've explained this before.
Explain it.
Like, the idea is all else equal, right? So when you're talking about a hypothetical, what you want to do is you want to engage with the hypothetical by assuming all the things that aren't mentioned are some kind of default. And usually you just assume the real world. If you can't assume the real world for some reason or another, you just assume the average.
Okay, fair. Now I'll make a specific hypothetical, right? Now I'll make a specific one. In a case where there is nobody, just a man with his penis, like a normal man, right? But nothing outside of the man exists in that world. Is he ever gonna be able to get to a sentient person?
Yeah, if he's a hermaphrodite.
Okay, now, yeah, if he's what? Did you say yes?
Yeah, if he's a hermaphrodite who's capable of auto-fertilization, yeah.
Is that possible? Physically?
Yeah, there have been real-world cases of it. They haven't gotten themselves pregnant, but they were capable of it.
Please show me this, bro. They were able to
Does
get
the debate turn
pregnant.
on this? Look, if it's a hypothetical, it doesn't have to exist in the real world. There's not been a case of a guy floating around in the ether who's like fucking. There's nothing around him, and it's just him there.
But I'm asking,
there's not even a vacuum of space.
Is it physically possible then? Is it like epistemic? Do we have epistemic access to this? Is it physically possible?
Do we have epistemic access to it? Yes, because it's a hypothetical. Is it physically possible? Yes. But also, there's no, like, if you have a law of physics you think it breaks, name it. It's happened in the real world, and I'll give you sources for that too if that's really, really necessary. But it shouldn't be necessary because it's a hypothetical. There's a person who's capable of it, yes. We haven't seen any cases of people actually auto-fertilizing, but we've seen somebody had both fertile eggs and fertile sperm, yes.
How can someone...
Bro, they just have both equipment. It's not complicated. They have both equipment. And look, for a person, we have examples of it. It's very rare. They're able to ovulate. They have a prostate. They can make sperm. I don't want to get too into the birds and bees with you. You're very young. Not that young, but you're too young to get into that. Point being is, obviously, it's hypothetically imaginable. There's no law of physics it breaks because we see other animals that are capable of doing it regularly, right? There are plenty of animals out there that are capable of auto-fertilization, so we know it's physically possible for sure.
Which animals are able of doing that? I'm sorry.
Let me look you up a list here. I'm not going to know any examples off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think there's a good. I think there's fucking, what is it, the hammerhead worms? I think they're able to, but I want to double check.
Yeah, I think that in a case where somebody can auto-fertilize or something like that, I think that because they have both like vagina, not vagina, but both like male and female organs.
Yeah,
like
flatworms.
down there.
Okay, flatworms. The hammer. Those worms do in fact they are able to auto-fertilize. So I was right. The one example I knew in my head was correct.
Do they
Barnacles
have
and
both
clams are also able
female
to.
and male?
Snails and slugs.
Do they all have male and
No,
female?
they're all hermaphroditic. So everybody's both a male and a female, so to speak.
Yeah, but if they're both, then yeah, even plants that are both male and female are able to. I'm not saying that, but I'm talking about an average like Joe. I'm not talking about like
so he's the
some
average
specific
Joe.
mutant with his both male and human.
So in your
Male
hypothetical, for all things
male
not mentioned, I should just assume the average in the real world.
That man is not physically possible to exist.
No, obviously it's physically possible. What law of physics would it break for a person to be a hermaphrodite?
For a person to be
who's capable of auto-fertilization? What law of physics would that break?
Alrighty, yeah. So I came to check. Where are we in the debate?
Right now, we are in the part of the debate where Free experiences what happens when you answer questions like he does, which is you never get anywhere because the person's not really answering your questions. They're changing the question and answering a new one.
We do have other debaters lined up.
Do you think epistemically that is possible?
So if y'all could wrap this up in under 15 minutes, that would be great.
Nah, fuck that. We'll do this for as long as Free feels like.
As long as Free feels like.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm gonna have to go very, very soon. I'll just try to do this as
we have
fast
lots
as
of
possible.
debaters.
Yeah.
That's too bad for them. I'm not debating any of them today.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh man. But anyways, look at it like this. In a case of like how can I say this? Okay, is it epistemically possible for this to happen for a person to be both?
Sorry, what did you ask?
Is it epistemically possible for a person to be both male and female?
Yeah, it's happened in the real world before, but obviously it's physically possible because there's a law of physics that breaks.
Maybe, but biologically, we have never seen anything come close to that, have we?
We have, but it doesn't matter there because physical possibility is not have we seen it happen before.
But biologically, maybe not physically.
Biological possibility also isn't have we seen it happen before. We haven't seen a new species other than the ones we already have, right? There's all of the species that we've currently seen. Is it biologically possible for there to be another species? Yes, obviously. Is it physically possible? Yes, obviously. Is it epistemically possible? Yes, obviously. We don't have to have an existing example, but we do, in fact, in this case, have existing examples.
I mean, if there's a person which is like this, this physically possible, quote unquote, physically, I don't know if it is, but quote unquote, physically possible entity, which is a human, but somehow it's both male and a female, right? In that case, then probably, yeah, but like, let's just talk about average Joe in this like very specific hypothetical.
I see. So in your hypotheticals, what I should do is for any of the things not already mentioned in the hypothetical, I should just assume the average in the real world, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now you understand how hypotheticals work. So instead of saying, oh, well, if a sperm was under this condition, it wouldn't be able to. If I ask you, here's the question again, right? Don't do the thing because you know the problem with it now. The question is just, are sperms able to develop into a zygote?
Yes, if I understand the conditions. Yeah.
Which is just the average in the real world, like you always would for any other hypothetical.
Yeah, in average cases, but the problem... Oh, that is the issue. Okay. The problem with what I'm telling you is if there is at least logically possible case which talks about these types of quote-unquote potentials being different, then that is enough to prove my point. Because it can
it's not, because I can give you the same thing for a zygote. I can say if the zygote was going to end up miscarrying, then it would be the case it never develops into a person. Obviously.
Yeah, but I excluded the miscarriage part already. But it's fine. In a case, so in a case of like, let's just say that I'm gonna give you two cases. So
if it was the case that for many different reasons it wasn't going to develop into a person, like say for example it was going to be born brain dead. You say that's also a case where it didn't miscarry, and yet, because it was born brain dead, it never develops into a person.
If it's born brain dead, then... Okay. But I understand that. But let's just get to these two hypotheticals. So in a case of like, let's just say that there's an average Joe, like average Joe from a general world, fine, whatever. In a case where he exists with just his penis out and everything, nothing in the world exists except him. Is it possible for that sperm? Not possible, but is it like, can that sperm, right, become a person?
Can the sperm become a person? Well, you're just to be like as fucking honestly as generous as possible here. Assuming I'm not gonna answer your question in the fucking freedagoat way, I would say no. It's not. It's not able to. It's not capable of doing that.
Okay. In your way, not a freedagoat way, is it the case that
To go?
now if there's two people, right? One is a man, one is a woman, right? But they never engage in an intercourse. Can this sperm become what a quote unquote sentient person?
Well, I mean, you think the answer is yes, don't you?
I mean, I don't, because
Well,
they
how
can.
was Jesus made?
Bro, Jesus was made through something else, bro. That wasn't the same thing.
Absolutely.
That's not fair, bro. That's not fair. Sith, I hate you. This is not
This
fair,
nigga
bro.
free is so ass.
Free's better than you.
Thanks, man.
Be nice.
But yeah, so let's just get to that. Now, the point that I was trying to make, now that I can get into the conversation where I wanted to, because I have to go very, very soon. In a case of if they were never able to, hypothetically in a world, these two people were some Romeo and Juliet, or they were something like, they never just were able to engage in a intercourse, right? In those cases, this sperm cannot, right, become a sentient person, right? In a case of a normal pregnancy, which ends up in a normal sentient being, right, that can happen, obviously, and that does happen. It's more probable to happen. But now the thing that I'm trying to show you is, unless these two people do engage in an intercourse, this sperm will never be able to do this. In a case where he does engage in a intercourse, it will be able to do this unless there's a case of miscarriage, which happens 15 to 20% around the world.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, generally it's the case that sperm requires an egg in the same way that it's generally the case that a zygote requires a mom. Yeah.
Oh my god, bro. No. I'm not gonna scream, bro. I'm not gonna scream. But let's just in a general case. I'm giving you what you wanted all along. In a general case, is this like the thing? Is this like the thing within the world?
Was what a thing in the world?
Generally, if
What a
they
thing?
never engaged in intercourse, generally, is it the case that this sperm will never become anything?
Generally, they don't, but that doesn't mean categorically. So you said, is it in the world? I mean, I don't think I've seen any examples. You do?
No, I don't.
You do. You think Jesus was an example?
What's your problem with Jesus, man?
I love Jesus. I like the guy.
Okay, I love him too, my Lord and Savior. But no,
I just don't think that was how he was made. I don't think he was made. I think that a baby is made in a very specific type of way, and Jesus was probably made in that type of way, the way that babies are made.
I don't think
You
that
think
is
Jesus
how
was
he was
made in
made.
the way?
Wait, hold on. Don't start
Oh
this
wait, sorry, that's
conversation.
not my.
Outside of Jesus, because you know how I believe he was made. In a case of um, in a case of like a, have we seen it before or something like that?
I mean, I think the answer is no. My answer would be no to you, but your answer should still be yes, even with the exception of Jesus, because you think there were two people who were made otherwise. They're the first two people, actually. That's the.
No, I don't. I
Yeah,
don't
you
have
do.
to.
You don't think you don't believe in Adam and Eve?
I believe them in a metaphorical way, and I don't. I'm like agnostic on Adam and Eve.
You're agnostic. Okay, you believe there were the first. There were two first people, though, right?
No, I can accept evolution.
Oh. Okay, based. Then there's no dispute. As long as you just don't, then yeah, you'll answer the same way I do here, which is no. I don't think it's the case that that's going to happen generally. I think the way that I've seen people made is babies are made. The normal baby making methods.
Yeah, normal baby making. Okay. Now the thing with active and passive potential,
A
so I can
stork
get to
brings
the
them.
point of conversation which I wanted to get it to, and which was supposed to be like for the long time, which was like just your hypothetical, not my Aristotelian talk. Oh my god. In a case of, well, I'm just trying to show you that there's like a zygote or like a fertilized sperm or something like that, right? That's something, well, more than, I think more likely is to become a person given our epistemic access. Sperm without ever becoming fertilized cannot do this, right? Now, that is the thing that I tried to show you. Maybe I shouldn't have brought this, and I'll give you this. Maybe I should have brought this as like a distinction in a way of instrumental indispensability, which I brought up, and the value for why I value fetus. But that is a different thing, okay? Now, to get it to where I wanted to get it to, right, which was actually the relevant point, which was your hypothetical. Yes or no, if the mother had a desire, right, to keep the baby, and she had a desire to go through all of this pain, is it the case that it is different just in terms of a desire, not in terms of pain, as far as like the baby comes, but only in terms of a desire that between the mother which doesn't want the baby and between the mother that wants a baby?
So that didn't really sound like a question near the end there. Could you rephrase that in the form of a question?
Okay. In a case where mother wants a baby and mother doesn't want a baby, is it the case that they will feel the same pain when that baby comes to go outside of the womb?
No, I would imagine the one who doesn't want the baby would probably suffer a bit more.
As far as like the baby coming out of the womb, no, I think the physical pain stays
Yeah, I
the
think
same.
the
Or
physical
relative.
pain would, but like the emotional pain wouldn't.
No, I don't care about the humanist conscious and like the psychological states. I don't care about that.
Okay, I do, right? You're attacking my position with this argument. That was the goal.
Yeah, I'm just trying to show you that. Okay, if mother had no preference towards this pain, would she still know what it feels like to? Would she still know like what the physical pain of a pregnancy would be if she experienced it?
Yeah.
Okay, if the person who wants the baby, will she still experience the type of physical pain that happens when
The
she gets
physical
the
pain,
baby?
yeah, but that's not all I care about.
I'll show why it's relevant. Now, in a case of like a person who wants, I don't know, a candy, all right, to bring it to emotional cases, do you think that it's relevant that to how candy tastes like, or whether they know how candy tastes? They're them wanting the candy and them not wanting a candy. Do you think that's relevant to knowing how it tastes like?
Wanting or not wanting the candy, is it relevant to how what it tastes like for them? It depends on what you really mean by that. Probably, yeah.
Okay. Would it be the case that when there's like a candy, both people want a candy, do you think that they both know um in a like pleasurable sense, do you think that it tastes the same whether they want the candy or not?
No, it probably tastes different for people who like the candy than dislike it.
Mm.
It's probably why they
I
like
mean,
it. Like I know, like my
no, I
taste has
think that's a
changed over
difference in
time.
quality.
No, I'm saying like what it tastes like is different. So like my taste have changed. Yeah, probably people who my taste have changed over time.
Do I have
I don't
to?
know who's server meeting there. We gotta kill him in real life and not online. Let me go ahead and take a look. Oh, I can't do that. You can look at that though, free. You can handle it. Get him.
Wait, give
To
me a
answer the
second.
question, what I was gonna say is, no, I think generally people who like things probably have a different taste experience. It's probably part of why they like it. There's obviously part of it which is also like cultural and like just based on kind of like arbitrary matters. But probably it does taste different for people who like things versus dislike things. Like I know some people don't like cilantro because it tastes like soap to them. I know there's like a genetic cause for that.
Okay, so I may have to leave in a second, but so maybe we'll have to continue it tomorrow. Are you like free tomorrow, like 5 p.m. the same time?
Yeah,
Okay, then can you do it here again, or
yeah,
then okay. So just to give you an input to what I wanted to give you before I really go,
yeah.
I wanted to give you with the indoctrinated slave hypothetical. I don't know if you're familiar with it, and I wanted to give you the brainless human hypothetical.
It's one of
Yep.
the
Because
hottest hypotheticals on the hypothetical.
You calling it
If you don't know
hot?
what,
You said you think the hypothetical's hot, official?
no. I'm gonna bring it down. I can. So no,
I meant hot like.
no, come on, don't answer that. Don't answer that. But listen,
Yikes.
yeah. So, by the way, some guy named Scoobert really wants to debate you, and he's a really good guy. So I think you should do it.
I
It's not
fuck
gonna
with
take long.
Scoobert. Scoobert, this is not a diss at you. It's just that I have literally no time. This debate has already gone on for longer than I wanted it to. And I also have to go fucking drive to the store and get some goddamn sodas because I said to Val that I was gonna do that. And also on top of this, I gotta fucking gotta ping Avi because we have like 2 weeks in a row had scheduling issues with our ability to debate each other, and I have to do that too. I do not have the schedule, and I'm sorry. But I knowing now that you want to debate me, I will find a way to make it happen. Probably next weekend.
Okay, yeah. So I'll the thing that I wanted to, yeah, indoctrinated slave, the case of like a brainless human, and I wanted to get to the desires point, and the thing I also wanted, synth fucks me, yeah, she does. And also in the case of like I just wanted to get to a desire point because I think you infer some principles with the hypothetical which I don't think are really necessary, nor do I think that I would agree with them. And that is the thing that I wanted to examine. But if you want to examine my argument for pro-life, we're also going to do that tomorrow. But it has to be tomorrow because I don't have any time now. I'm so sorry.
All right. I kind of do want to hear about your hypotheticals. I want to hear about your example. TK official says it's hot, but it sounds like it's about indoctrinated slaves, which doesn't sound very hot to me. That sounds fucked up. And in which case, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just server mute you to avoid any kind of bad optics in here. I'm sorry. Go ahead, official. Go ahead.
He's trying to ruin my image. Slavery is not hot. There we
Well,
go.
you don't think so?
Free, you can't be freaked out on Rec, bro.
Don't be freaking out. Nobody freak out. It creeped me out. It's scaring me.
Okay, so we have Val. He's another up and coming, very linear interlocutor. He's willing to debate.
I think she's gonna debate me on.
in a minute. I'm gonna be going.
Actually, she's here. She's here. So she
soda
can debate
pop.
me on if it's the case that I should go get soda or not.
Yeah.
Premise one: if I know that I ought not get soda, then I ought not get soda. Premise two: I do know that I ought not get soda. Conclusion: I ought not get soda. Please provide a non-question begging rejoinder to any of the premises of that argument.
No.
That's what I thought.
No, we're not doing this. But yeah,
All
I'm
right.
gonna go Apollo, press synth now.
Press synth. I literally just told you like 40 times in a row. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I know. That's why I told him to press you now because you're leaving and you can dodge like a doger. You are. Ha ha.
Like a doger. Okay.
You're
Yeah,
telling
like
me
a
you guys are
doger.
debating.
Oh, I
for
did
2
promise
hours
debate.
after this
Acer, do not
crazy.
speak, bro. Hold on, let Apollo do his thing.
What is this thing?
What do